Well, coming up on show 401, a $35,000 Tesla Model 3. That's the headline, but there's so much more to dig into in this story. Here we go. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. In fact, wherever you are in the world, welcome to EV News Daily for Thursday, the 28th of February, 2019. My name is Martyn Lee, and I've been through every EV story today. Binned off just about everything until tomorrow, and today is all about one big news story, and that is the $35,000 Tesla Model 3. It has arrived. Some big news that comes with it as well. We're going to chew through all of it on the podcast today. Thank you as always to myev.com for helping make this show and getting it out to as many people in the world as possible. myev.com is the world's first marketplace all about EVs, totally free if you want to head on there to buy and sell and learn about EVs as well. So that's the headline then. $35,000 Tesla Model 3 is not only here, it's available now. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to structure this in a way that I'm going to go through Tesla's official statement, then you and I can pick through some of the things. What does it mean? That's always the fun bit. Like, this is the facts, but what does it mean? So Tesla kick off by saying today, we are incredibly excited to announce that the standard Model 3 with 220 miles of range, a top speed of 130 miles an hour, and 0 to 60 in 5.5 seconds is now available at $35,000. Although lower in cost, it's built to achieve the same perfect 5-star safety rating as the longer-ranged version, which has the lowest probability of injury of any car ever tested by the US government. So, taking a quick look at the stats in their first paragraph, 220 miles of range. So that is significant in that it's less than the current crop of, say, Korean top-of-the-range cars that'll do 250, 260, and, you know, in many places this will be cheaper, though. But 220 miles, crucially, I think anything that is a decent chunk over 200 miles, psychologically, it puts you at ease. You're like, okay, I can do 200 miles, 220 miles. I've got the supercharging network to fall back on. And of course, here in Europe, all of the CCS combo plugs as well I can plug into. That's fine for range. I think for a lot of people, that's fine for range. Wouldn't we all love 500 miles? Yes. I'd love to wave a magic wand. 220 miles is fine for most. A top speed of 130 miles an hour. Well, top speed's an interesting one because many EVs will top out, pardon the pun, at 95, 110. Even some very premium EVs are doing 100 miles an hour, 105 miles an hour because of the gearing, the motors. 130 miles an hour is of very little use to nearly everybody. Maybe if you're in Germany on the autobahns and you can make use of it. But otherwise, if I did that in this country, first of all, I'd be pretty damn stupid. But also, that's license-losing territory. Speed limit here is 70 miles an hour. 0 to 60, 5.6 seconds. Yeah, that's going to give you a bit of a gut punch. 5.6 seconds is plenty quick. It's all the quick I need anyway. And it's available at $35,000. So, let's continue with the statement from Tesla. We are introducing the Model 3 Standard Range Plus. This is interesting. The Standard Range Plus offers 240 miles of range, a top speed of 140, 0 to 60, 5.3, and the most premium interior features at $37,000 before incentives. So, for 6% more money, you get 9% more range, you get more power, you get the upgraded interior. It was an interesting, unforeseen complication in this whole, which one should you go for? Because a $35,000 Model 3 was what was always promised by Tesla and Elon Musk. But for $37,000, you get a little more range, more power, better interior. And actually, so that would imply that that's the car that they are making. That's the car. And actually, the standard, the 35,000 is just software locked. I reckon that's an identical car apart from the interior. I don't know. I'm thinking this through as you're thinking it through as well. This announcement happening only just a few minutes ago. To achieve these prices, says Tesla, while remaining financially sustainable, Tesla is shifting sales worldwide to online only. You can now buy a Tesla in North America via your phone in about a minute, and that capability will be extended worldwide. We're making it much easier to try out and return a Tesla, so that a test drive prior to purchase isn't needed. You can now return a car within 7 days or 1,000 miles for a full refund. Quite literally, you could buy a Tesla, drive several hundred miles for a weekend road trip with friends and return it for a full refund. With the highest consumer satisfaction score of any car on the road, Tesla say they're confident that you'll want to keep your Model 3. So, that's interesting that their sales are going online. And look, let's face it, that's how many people want to interact in terms of their purchases. Even their big purchases that people are making these days, they're fine with making an online purchase. And it's good that that you can do that online. But if I can just take maybe the contrary opinion to most here, it does mean that they will be closing down many of their locations. Let me move on to their statement. I'll move through their statement and then we can chew through that a little bit, because service, aftercare and service is not something that Tesla have showered themselves in glory with until now. They have a plan to fix it. My concern is fewer locations could hurt confidence, but let's continue with their statement. Shifting sales online combined with other cost efficiencies enables us to lower vehicle prices by about 6% on average. That's what they get to the $35,000 Model 3. Over the next few months, we'll be winding down many of our stores, with a small number of stores in high-traffic locations remaining as galleries, showcases, and Tesla information centers. The important thing for customers in the US is to understand that with online sales, anyone in any state can quickly and easily buy a Tesla. And that's a key phrase. Anyone in any state can buy a Tesla. At the same time, they say, we're increasing our investment in the service system with the goal of same day, if not same hour service, with most service done by us coming to you rather than you coming to us. Moreover, we guarantee service availability anywhere in any country in which we operate, say Tesla. We're also excited to announce that we are implementing a number of firmware upgrades for both new and existing customers. This wasn't foreseen, by the way. This is basically great news for anyone who already owns a car. These upgrades will increase the range of the long-range rear-wheel drive Model 3 upwards to 325 miles. 325 miles is now the range of the long-range rear-wheel drive version. It's going to increase the top speed. If you've got a Model 3 Performance, top speed 162. And add, on average, a 5% peak power to all Model 3 variants. For all of those Model 3 owners out there, this new over-the-air update gave you a 5% on average better car. I just think that's an amazing story. Let me continue and finish off the statement. Tesla is committed to making not just the best electric cars, but the best cars, period. And our products are the reason we continue to rank number one in Consumer Reports' owner satisfaction survey, and have every single year since Tesla was first eligible to be included. Standard Model 3 and Standard Plus are available today at Tesla.com. Okay, that's the statement. So all those headline facts seem good, apart from, to my mind, closing down locations. What does that mean? They mention closing down showrooms, but surely that means closing down service centres. And I don't want to speak too soon. This announcement is perhaps 20 minutes old. No doubt in 24 hours' time we'll have more clarity on this. As I'm recording this podcast, there is currently a call going on with Elon Musk and the Tesla team with press and investors, I think. And that call will certainly shed more light on things like staff losses, on margins, and all those kind of things that they're going to ask about on that call. But you and I, we're just concerned about the big facts about the 35,000 Model 3, which, I should say, is the car that so many EV doubters said will never arrive. It's so easy to be a keyboard warrior. The thing about never having to create anything and just sit at home, probably in your underwear, probably, these 30 and 40-year-old journalists, I'm doing air quotes now, they're basically bloggers, aren't they? But they still live at home with their mum in their mum's basement or something, just banging away on the keyboard, just trying to put so much hate into the world. And so many of them had said the $35,000 Model 3 will never arrive. Fact, I know it. I mean, you know nothing, do you? Really? You poor people putting hate into the world. It's a $35,000 Model 3 available to order today. So, they promised it, and it's finally here. 220 miles. And for those who had been just waiting out to order their Model 3, they can now. Previously, the most affordable one was just over $42,000, wasn't it, I think? And of course, you need to factor into this, if you're in the US, the federal tax credit, which is starting its taper down now. It's $3,750, and you get that federal tax credit. So it's just over $30,000 for a car that can do 130 miles an hour, 0 to 60 in 5.6 seconds. And that's if you go for the base model. I think that the Standard Range Plus is going to be the most attractive one. You get that extra 20 miles of range, you get the extra speed, the extra top speed as well, premium interiors too, for $2,000 more. That seems to me the obvious one to go for. What about the other questions then? Let me think through. Again, this announcement is minutes old. I'm going to try and think through the initial reaction that people are going to talk about. Well, the glass roof has got to be one. Most people said that the glass roof won't be there on the standard range. It'll just be a metal roof. No, every Model 3 has the all-glass roof. That wasn't originally supposed to happen, by the way. They are going to have a more basic interior where your cell phone, your mobile phone sits. The dash as well can be very simple. There's going to be fabric seats, fabric manual seats as well. The Model 3 will come to Europe and China within 3 to 6 months, this base spec model. This was the goal of the company from the very beginning. Pre-Model 3, this was the goal of the company, was to make an affordable electric car that everybody can live with. Okay, let's talk about winding down some of those stores then. And that's probably the bit that's going to get reported most by... You're going to see two types of story in the next 24 hours if you're listening to this podcast when it first comes out. You'll see celebratory ones about the car, and then those that are funded by, oil advertisers and all that kind of stuff. They've got to try and find a negative. If you see any negative headlines, it's all going to be probably based around closing many of the stores and also how they are going to be kind of wound down. And that's the angle I imagine they will go for. Elon Musk saying in that statement, or Tesla saying in that statement, that they need to do that in order to get the $35,000 Model 3 out there and also to make the margins work. So what do you reckon? What are your thoughts, initial impressions? You can email me, hello@evnewsdaily. You can leave a comment in the section of YouTube, because we put the podcast audio on YouTube as well, or on Facebook if you want to do that with your first thoughts, impressions, because literally this is exactly as I'm coming to it as well. Having a look at the design studio then, I've got my US VPN connected, and it says here on the Tesla Model 3 that the price is bang on $35,000. Not a pound, not a dollar under, $34,999, but it's exactly $35,000. Tesla are still doing that thing on the right-hand side of the page where they like to list the price of what they think that you'll be paying. So they actually list the price of this car as $26,950 because they take off incentives, and if you're in California, you get a bit more money off in those EV-friendly states, and of course there's fuel savings. I've said before, I hate that. I don't like it. Don't do the thinking for me. I can work out my savings. Just give me the price of the car, which of course it is, right down at the bottom of the page. They're not hiding it. So standard range, $35,000. Standard Range Plus, $37,000. Oh, by the way, on the interior, so let's just chew through these very quickly. I don't want to be any more than 15, 20 minutes on today's podcast, but standard interior is manual seat, manual steering adjustment, cloth seats, basic audio, standard maps and nav, and a center console with 4 USB ports. If you go for the partial premium interior, you get the 12-way adjustable seats, heated, you get the premium seat material, you get the upgraded audio, you get LED fog lamps, and you get the center console with all the storage and the docking for the 2 smartphones. So that is for $37,000. You can also get the long-range car, by the way. The long-range car, the long-range battery, if you want, and the mid-range battery with their premium interiors, as you always have done. So the mid-range car, 40,000, the long-range car, 43,000, and that premium interior adds, let me get this right, you've got the premium audio, 14 speakers, satellite view maps, in-car internet streaming, the location-aware garage door opening, and a lot more as well. As for the dual motor, just to run through the prices that I haven't, dual motor long range, $47,000, dual motor performance, $58,000. So, if you want to spec your car at $35,000 at the very basic level, what do you get? You get solid black paint. You get 18-inch aero wheels. If you want to upgrade that, you can upgrade the colour and maybe go for, there's only four other colours apart from solid black. You've got the midnight silver, that's metallic. You've got the deep blue, and they're $1,500 extra. You've got the pearl white multi-coat, which is gorgeous at $2,000, and the red multi-coat, $2,500. If you're sticking with black though, and you want to spec the wheels up, you can get the 19-inch sport wheels for $1,500. But say you spec it just black with the basic wheels, you're staying at $35,000, your basic interior as well. What about autopilot? And here is where, as I'm not like deep into Tesla territory, people like Ryan on his Ride the Lightning podcast, like he's a Tesla owner and he knows this inside out. This is where it gets a little confusing for me because they've renamed autopilot. So they've now got autopilot, which is basic self-driving, a bit like smart cruise control, accelerating, braking, and steering within the lane. So that's autopilot for $3,000, or $4,000 if you add it after delivery. Then they have full self-driving. Now, navigate on autopilot is the big thing with the with Tesla. That's the thing that you really do want, basically. Navigate on autopilot. That is on-ramp to off-ramp with the interchanges and overtaking slower cars and moving lanes and all that kind of stuff. That is now called full self-driving. So navigate on autopilot has been wrapped into full self-driving. So two options. Let me go back. Autopilot or full self-driving. And they've changed it quite subtly how they describe it. So basic, autopilot, $3,000. Full self-driving, $5,000. Also in the news today is full self-driving. They have confirmed that later this year it will recognise and respond to traffic lights and stop signs, and it will automatically drive on city streets. That's by the end of the year, which is what Elon was talking about on that ARK Invest podcast a little bit earlier in the year. So say you go for... you can just go for autopilot, which is the basic, but would you go, that's $3,000, would you go an extra $2,000 and go $5,000 for full self-driving? You probably would, wouldn't you? You would. You absolutely would. So I think that is, but do you add the 5 and the 3, so then it's $8,000 extra? Oh my goodness. This is where it gets a little confusing because I'm not the super Tesla fanboy that's deep inside it. I think that probably means that you have to tick both on the website. So if you want everything, it's an extra 8. Oh goodness. Someone correct me if you are deep into Tesla land on this. It is huge news. Congratulations to everybody. I need to stop the podcast and keep it under 20 minutes. Congratulations to everybody at Tesla for doing this, for everything that you've done to bring this car to the market. All I can say is give me your feedback. You can email me, hello@evnewsdaily.com if you want to. Let me know what you think. I'll pass it on tomorrow's podcast. A normal resumption of the podcast tomorrow with all of the different bits of news as we normally do, and all the other stories that have been going on, because there's so much to talk about. We haven't really mentioned the little Honda Urban EV, or E-Prototype as it's now called, the Geneva Motor Show that's coming soon. It's just been a crazy busy week. As an aside, I meet people sometimes, and when I tell them I do a daily podcast about electric cars, some of them, not all, some of them cock their head, look at me with a quizzical look and go, is there really enough news to do a daily podcast about EVs? There's more than enough. I could do more than one a day, but nobody wants that. Thank you so much for bearing with me. Please share your thoughts. This is literally like the first 20 minutes of instant reaction, so I'm sure in 24 hours' time I might have something maybe a little more considered to say. Thank you for bearing with me. If you want to take part in our question of the week this week, we'll read out all of your answers on Sunday, as we always do. Thanks to myev.com for setting our question of the week. Where did you, or where will you, buy an EV from? Let's make a list of the best places, the best markets, the best dealers or companies who you've bought an EV from. We can mention the good ones. And if you haven't bought an EV yet, where will you buy one from? I mean, the news today that Tesla is going online-only sales. Does that impact any of your decision-making, I guess? Let me know. There are 197 patrons of the show. Thank you for your support at patreon.com/EVNewsDaily. You keep us going. There are 400 previous episodes of the podcast online to download anytime you want to. Get all the new ones by hitting subscribe on your favourite podcast platform and even on YouTube. And if you want to get it first and free and automatically, that subscribe button will do that for you. If you can share the podcast in any way possible, that'd be amazing. Thank you so much. In the meantime, say hi on the socials, Facebook, LinkedIn and Twitter by searching EV News Daily. Have a wonderful day. I'll catch you tomorrow. And remember, there's no such thing as a self-charging hybrid.